Hello, welcome to my business advice and money saving tips channel. This video is all about the worst mistakes I have made in my business career. I've been in business now for 14 years. I've built and sold 5 businesses and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to talk you through the key ones in this video in the hope that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. But before we get into the content, as always, a little joke. This one, again, one of my favourites from comedian Tim Vine. So I'm going to start with a chimney joke. I've got a stack of them. The first one is on the house. That's comedy. Okay guys, let's get down to it. The mistakes, you want to hear them. So in no particular order, I'm going to start off with the one which happened most recently to me. Now, throughout lockdown, since March, I've been trying to get a e-commerce business up and running which deals with customizable comics. Now, finding the artist was one challenge, and when I actually found the artist, it took about 2 to 3 months to actually get all the artwork that I needed for that comic and for that business. And I naively completely underestimated what was needed with the tech. So I put out an ad on freelancer sites, lots of freelancer sites, not really knowing the technical requirements of what was needed for the software that I wanted. So my ad was quite hard actually to decipher, especially when I was dealing with lots of international freelancers, because I wasn't really being very clear or specific with what I actually wanted the tech to do. I was talking in very general terms. I guess my overall point with this is that I naively went into creating this business not fully understanding and fully spending the time to do the research to actually get clear on how it would have been possible to actually create the software that I wanted to create. Now, if I had taken the time to actually get really clear, maybe hire some kind of IT consultant on an hourly rate and just sat down with him or had a Zoom call with him and said, right, this is what I'm looking to do, this is what I'm looking to create, how can I do it? Then I would have saved myself a lot of pain and a lot of stress. If you are embarking on anything that involves technology, number one, do your research. And I think number two, if you are working with a freelancer and you feel as though that this freelancer is offering a completely unique service that can't be offered by anyone else, and you start getting crap from that freelancer, then I think as soon as you feel as though that freelancer has lost respect for you and your business, regardless of their skill set, you've got to cut them loose. My next big mistake was starting a business that A, I wasn't passionate about, B, with someone who I was in a new relationship with. Now let me kind of break those points down. So first of all, this business was meant to be a environmental, I laugh now, right? An environmental version of Amazon. So kind of like a big online shop only selling environmental products. Now, this is when I think I was in my early to mid 20s, and okay, yeah, I'm environmentally aware, I would say. I recycle as much as I can. Am I overly passionate about making a huge difference with the environment? And do I want that to be my main source of income? Can I make an impact? No, I don't now, and I didn't then. And I think if you start a business that you're not passionate about, and you're not passionate about it really from the start, it's going to be really hard for you to maintain a certain level of energy and motivation. I think at the beginning, it was a case that it sounded like a good idea. It sounded like a great idea. And there was this kind of initial buzz that I was quite high on. But when that buzz wore off, and I was working on something that I didn't truly believe in or wasn't truly passionate about, then some frustration really started to sink in, and I very quickly started to question, am I doing the right thing here? Am I doing the right thing in doing this business and getting involved with this business? So that was definitely number one. I think number two was that the woman that I was in a relationship with, I didn't really know her. I say that because when you're in a relationship, at the beginning, you are normally in the majority of relationships, you're on a real high. Everything is new and sexy, and it's all great and it's fantastic. And it's not until, I think, you've lived with someone for a few years before you really truly know them. And when I say know them, it's not just the knowing the good stuff. It's not just knowing their pros and their strengths, but it's also knowing their weaknesses and actually really being able to accept those weaknesses as well. And this was at the start of a relationship, and I didn't know her weaknesses. I know so much that I didn't know about her, and it actually turned into probably the worst relationship I've ever had in my entire life. And I was starting a business with this woman. Now, this is not to badmouth her, not at all, but it is to really to highlight the point that when you go into business with someone, you really need to know them in I think quite an intimate way. What intimate way? Take them to bed, give them a drink? Not at all. No, you really need to, I think, trust that you know them inside and out to a level where you can truly count on them to do what they say they're going to do, but when they say they're going to do it, and that they have the level of energy and motivation and drive which is going to push the business forward. I actually felt with that business, really thinking back, it's quite a while ago now, that I was the one carrying her on my shoulders with that business, and that's never a great place to be. I think if you go into business with someone, you really want to make sure that at very least you have someone on your level, so that if you fall behind, they're going to pick you up, and if they fall behind, you're going to pick them up. Make sure it's like a two-way street. The final mistake that I'll leave you with, guys, is not being active across social media. Now, I'm only really grasping right now, in fact, the true impact on my businesses and my projects, given how inactive that I have been across social media. Now, this is just like one thing I do. This business channel is just one thing. A much larger part of what I'm up to right now is based around comedy writing, and I write comedy. I'm looking to getting into producing comedy. I absolutely love it. I'm completely passionate about the idea of creating a program which has the ability to make millions of people laugh. I absolutely love that. But, and that's a very big but coming, I've been just inactive on social media, and there's been times where I've had little flutters. I had little flutters across Facebook and Instagram, and then after a little bit I just kind of gave up, and I moved on to something else, and I said, I want to focus on comedy writing, so why do I need social media? But it's just stupid. It really is just a stupid way of looking at it, because social media right now is king, and it has been king for more than I'd say probably 11, 12 years, and I'm only right now kind of starting to see some pretty good results with my social media, now that I'm getting into a bit of a habit and a bit of a flow, being consistent with it. And I can only imagine the amount of lost opportunities that that there have been for me with how inactive that I've been on social media. I'm kind of in that space right now where I'm looking to turn things around. I'm on Hootsuite. I'm spending a bit of time at the beginning of each day to actually set up my social media posts for the day, creating 3 or 4 posts. I'm getting into live streaming. I'm actually creating a chat show, which is something I've wanted to do for a really long time. But it's taken a while. It's taken a while to really come to this realization, and a really big shout out to, not like he would ever hear this, but there's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure you've heard of him. Runs a really great podcast, and actually listening to his podcast on a regular basis in the gym has really, it's shown me the light. It's shown me the light. It's shown me the way. It really has. And I've got a lot to credit that guy for, given the free content and the quality of the content that he's putting out. I really hope this video was useful, guys. Please do leave me a comment below. Let me know your own business experiences and any mistakes that you've made in your business. I hope you managed to learn from the mistakes that I made so that you don't make them as well. Again, please do hit like, hit subscribe, and until next time, cheers.